Hello, I'm Tom Brewer, President of the Professional Firefighters and Paramedics of North Carolina. I'm here to give you a quick political update. I'm going to talk about some of the things we have going on in Raleigh, as well as discuss the IAFF and their recent endorsement of Joe Biden for President of the United States. Let's start with the more exciting of the two news and the big news, and that's what's going on in Raleigh, in our state capital. This week in Raleigh, firefighters from across North Carolina I want to say descended upon our state capital. We were in committee meetings. We were allowed to speak in committee meetings. We lobbied our legislators. We participated in a news conference with the Republican House leadership on our House Bill 520, which is the presumptive cancer, and House Bill 622, the PTSD legislation. Those of you who couldn't be there, many of you called and emailed your legislators, and as we would talk with them, they told us how they heard from firefighters, their friends, and their family, and it makes a difference. Your voice was heard loud and clear last week in Raleigh, so much so that both House Bill 520 and House Bill 622 passed the House. We're on to the Senate now, so we're on the brink of passing this legislation, the cancer and the PTSD. Now, I know this is short notice, but Monday morning at 10:30, House Bill 278, the parity with law enforcement, a lot of you know it as separation allowance, is going to be heard in rules. Again, short notice, but if you can be there, it makes a difference when they can see you. And if you can't be there, still call and email the House members. It makes a difference when they hear from us. They love hearing directly from us. Share this information with other firefighters, your friends, your family, share it on social media, and get them to engage as well, to let them know that they support this firefighter legislation and paramedics, so we can get parity with law enforcement. Now let's talk a little bit about the IAF's endorsement of Joe Biden. We've received a number of calls. Me personally, the e-board has. We've talked to local presidents throughout the state. This is definitely the hot topic issue, it makes sense. On a national level, our politics are so partisan right now, and they're so bitter, and it stirs conversation. On social media, I've read some of the threads and stuff that's going on, and let us start by saying we love the engagement. It's your job as not just firefighters, but as citizens to be engaged in the political process. But when we're having this debate, when we're having these discussions, let's remain factual. There's several myths up there we want to clear up from the start. First and foremost, your dues money will not go to Joe Biden or to political candidates. We have separate PAC funds that are voluntary contributions that members make, and those are the monies that are given to politicians, not your dues money. And when we decide on a politician, it's not based on party. We've heard a lot of people saying that we only support Democrats. Brothers and sisters, as we know here in North Carolina, that just isn't true. And let's look at 2016 election, the last big federal election with the presidents involved. The International didn't endorse either candidate, not the Democrat nor the Republican. We stayed out of it because we didn't believe either candidate met our standard. On a local level, we're here in the state, we endorsed, I believe it was 28 candidates. Of those 28 candidates, 18 were Republicans. If you remember last year, Speaker Moore from the House, Representative David Lewis, and Jason Sain, Representative Sain, all went to Washington, D.C. Myself, as well as IAF leadership, we spent about 2 hours at IAF headquarters. We gave them a tour of the facility. We had a great discussion, great conversation about the legislation that's we're presenting now here in North Carolina. And they received PAC money from both organizations as well the last election cycle. The International, the PFF-PNC, and I can speak for your home locals, they don't care what party affiliation you are. If you support firefighters, we'll support you. It's that simple. That being said, your dues monies do not go there, and we don't care what party you're from as long as you support us. The other thing that's a key to remember, the International, the state organization, your local, would never tell you who to vote for. When we make an endorsement politically, it's simply as to what candidate best we believe would represent your interest. And your interests are your retirement benefits, your pay, your health and safety, your health insurance, to make sure we have adequate staffing. Those are the only issues we look at. And a lot of times we look at their voting record and how they voted in the past. So, currently we have a legislation on a national level to bring collective bargaining to all firefighters and police officers. Joe Biden has said he would sign that. So that's our biggest issue, and he says he supports our right to collectively bargain. So please keep those things in mind. Let's have the debate. Let's keep it civil, but let's always remember, we're not going to tell you who to vote for. Like I said, we are a single-driven organization. We only care about those things. We understand and we respect your rights that when you go behind that curtain to vote for whoever in whatever election, you have a whole basket of issues. It's not just firefighter. It's your family. It may be, your kids, whether it's school systems, your aunts, uncles, neighbors. You're not single issue. We are single issue. We're just telling you which candidate we believe is best for your issues. We're not telling you to vote for anyone. Your dues money is not going to anyone. So please keep that in mind when we're having this debate. That being said, we all know the importance of politics, or else it wouldn't be such a hot topic and a hot debate. We saw the results of politics this week. You spoke up. You rose up. You came to Raleigh. You called. You emailed, and your voices were heard. House Bill 520, House Bill 622, both passed the House. They're on to the Senate. This week, House Bill 278, if you can be there Monday at 10:30, it's going to be heard in Rules in Raleigh. If you can't be there, we need you to email, call, and do whatever you can do to contact your representatives in the House. Ask them to support this, and also thank them for supporting the other pieces of legislation. Make your voice heard. If you would like to, we talked about PAC donations. We are going to have, while this is a great week, and it was a great week to get that legislation passed, that it's not a total victory. Now we have to get it through the Senate. If you'd like to make a PAC donation, please consider giving to the PFF-PNC PAC Fund. We could use it to help promote this legislation. If you can't come to Raleigh, we'll be putting out more dates for you to come to Raleigh. And sometimes they do come short notice because we get the word late from legislators. We'd love to have you there. It makes a difference. If you can't come, stay engaged. Call your legislators, email your legislators, share our information on social media, get people talking about it. Let firefighters know that we have their best interest at heart, and together we can pass this legislation. Thank you.